Today is May 5th, 2019, and you are listening to episode 4 of Man-Child and the Old Guy. He is the man-child, a bearded 20-something, and I'm the old guy, a cynical Gen Xer. This is your intergenerational podcast where he discusses pop culture, faith, politics, and whatever he finds interesting, and I just complain. Broadcasting from the basement because that is where Mom lets us. Welcome to our stream of consciousness.
Hey, happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody.
Welcome to the program, man-child.
Hey, what's up?
So how are you feeling today?
You know what? I'm feeling pretty good. I am at 59.99% in my stats class.
Hey.
Because yesterday, what is today?
Today's Sunday, May 5th.
Okay, Friday I meant. Friday, so 2 days ago, May 3rd. I had to take all my finals for my econ class, my psych class, and then for my stats class. I passed the other two, not a problem. My stats class, however, has been the biggest issue. So I'm at 59.99%. And last week we talked about D's get degrees. And
D's get degrees.
And you just have to have a 60% to get a D. So I'm at 59.99%. That my first final was graded. I had 3 finals. Pardon me. Sorry, I could have muted your mic. I know, sorry. It just had to come up. We went to a buffet for lunch today. It's the Sabbath. You gotta indulge yourself. So at 59.99%, so 1%, 0.01% will get me the grade I need to pass.
What if you don't get 0.10%?
I have to take the class again. But you see, I still also have my extra credit. What do you call it? Test. 'Cause it's called extra credit, and it's like, oh, voluntary. Except you have to take it. If you don't take it, you get 0 on your entire exams, on all the tests, everything we do. If we never take the extra credit, so it's not very fun. The extra credit's never fun stuff. Like extra credit for all my other classes will be like worth 5 points or something. Nothing big, but it's 5 points, and it'll be like, what was your favorite part of class this year? What's one thing you suggest to help the class to make it better for the next term? Thanks, guys. It was great having you as students. It's some dumb little thing like that you reply to. It's an easy 5 or 10 points. No, my teacher is like, what is, the blank is something that helps us complete statistics. You know what I put as the answer? It said it was a 2-word answer. I put a passing grade. That's what I put. And then I put another one where...
that sounds like you're going to get that one wrong.
Most likely. Here's another one where it's like, it has something about, this makes it easier to complete a hypothetical or to find a alternative hypothesis. And I said mercy. I didn't know the answers, so I'm like, I was always taught, don't leave anything blank, so I'm just going to go ahead and put answers down in these blanks.
So you're going to put the most moronic answers
it's
possible?
It's not moronic, it's please have mercy and give me a passing grade. I just need 60%. If I was a community college teacher, I really wouldn't care, unless I hated your guts, which I don't have any reason for my teacher to hate my guts. But just pass.
With those kind of answers on a...
That's the first time ever. It's just the extra credit for the finals. I'm so done with this class. I mean, I looked in the camera, and then because I have to be recorded when I'm doing it, because I do all my tests at home, and I was like, I really don't want to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to be a preacher. I don't want to be a mathematician. And I just went back to type in all the answers. I'm so...
So you're throwing little, things you would put on Facebook. Oh, I'm having a terrible day.
Well, yeah, I'm sitting in front of a camera for 2.5 hours, every time I take a test. I talk to myself pretty regularly, so when it comes to having to be recorded that long, yeah, there's times I'm talking to myself, and I just look at the screen, and I don't realize I'm being recorded until my teacher sends me a message later about something, which is awkward.
Yeah, because you said something to yourself.
Yeah, I start talking to myself, or I start singing, and whatever, we're getting off point. It's 59.99%. I just need 0.01% to get it 60, and that's enough to pass this class.
And that's what you're...
That's all I need. I am done with math. I am done with math for Sky Community College.
Great for you.
It is great for me.
Because you're going to use math later in life at some point.
I'm going to use the most basic form of stats. I'm going to use lots of algebra. The stats I'm working with are all hypothetical numbers and hypothetical this, that, and this, and this. And I'm like, you know what? Realistically, I can see where someone can use this in life. But honestly, I don't see where I'm ever going to use this in life.
So you're not going to use derivatives to figure out your gas mileage. You're just going to push the button on the car.
Yeah, it's way easier for me just to keep adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing.
Which you don't always do well either.
And really small units to get the answer. That's way better for me than it is.
Yeah, because once a number gets past 10, you're pretty much shot.
I can count by 20s.
Well, you got to take your shoes off to get to 20. And then there's the old joke about counting to 21.
I've never heard that one.
Well, we're not going to go there, but how was your orientation week for Best Buy? Are you still like the most enamored employee ever that they've had?
Maybe. Because like I said last week, I've been at home all this week, doing these e-learnings. I still have some I need to get done today after this show that I really don't want to do. And I showed Dad earlier one of them, and it's just this guy's talking, and he makes some little quip about something, and it pauses, and you get some meme music, and then those digital sunglasses come over his face. He's like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, that was so hokey.
Yeah, it's cringeworthy. Imagine watching that for 8 hours a day. And the problem was, I had to do my finals at the same time, try and study for those and get this done. Which school is obviously the priority, but
yes, it is.
I had to get this stuff done too. Otherwise, it just reflects really poorly on me. I have an entire week, and I didn't get everything done. But there's lots of issues with it, where things can't be completed. I have to be in the store with other employees to complete it, and some of them they take so long to do, and they don't save your progress. So if you finish it and you don't click the right thing, and you exit out of it,
oh, you gotta start over.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, the answers to all the little things after the videos, but you gotta sit through all the videos again. And,
yeah.
That is monotonous. But in general, I really like it. I think it's cool. There's nothing really to complain about. I'm pretty excited for this week because my schedule just seems fine. It's nothing to complain about. This Saturday, though, I'm working for 2 hours, 8 to 10 a.m.
Stock and shelves, probably. I don't think they
Well, it
open
puts
till
me
10.
right at 30 hours.
Well, that's what you wanted, right?
Yeah, so I got 12 to 7, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday is like 10 to 5. And then Thursday's 10 to 5, then I have Friday off. And then Saturday I work 8 to 10. So right when the store opens, I leave.
Click, click, out of there.
Yeah, which, I'm fine with. And they let you clock in 15 minutes early.
Woo!
So...
Bonus.
I was like, okay, great. This is awesome.
I'm showing up 16 minutes early.
Ka-clink?
Yeah.
How early can we clock out then?
Yeah. Rounding that time out.
But so far, yeah, I love working for Best Buy. Got my first paycheck at $55.65.
Yeah, so, hey, if you're in the Quad Cities, you could stop over Best Buy and try to figure out who Manchild is.
Yeah, it'll be pretty easy. I'll be wearing the white shirt because I'm the one new guy that showed up to orientation. The other guy didn't. So
You don't get a blue shirt?
No. Actually, for appliances, you get a black shirt, which is already picked out. I already have it at the store, but I can't take it with me. I got a name badge too, but I can't take that until...
Does your name badge say Manchild?
It says Caleb.
Oh.
Employee since 2019.
That's this year. It's like you just started.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So I'm feeling pretty good about the Best Buy thing. Just finish up some of the stuff later on today. I'm pretty anxious about my math test stuff because I just gotta get that stuff done. As soon as I get the call back, I get a little notification on my phone when something's been graded. So yesterday I was notified that my first test was graded. It sucked, my grade on that, but my grade moved up a little bit.
So it stunk, but it wasn't.
It wasn't bad enough that my grade didn't move up like a fraction, because it was at 59.72, and it jumped up to 59.99.
So you're like...
It moved up less than 1%.
So, like, your average grade is really your average.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. I mean, I had a test where I got like a 55, and my grade shot up like, pew! Everything sucked. I did for this class.
Oh, boy. Well, it's almost over. What do you got for your Zoomer rant this week?
This week, I want to talk about something personal. I know, unlike everything else I've talked about previously, how everything isn't, I take everything personal, which is an issue.
You think so?
I take everything as if it's a personal attack. And one thing I'm going to take, in a calm, not screaming to blow out your speakers like last week, thing is getting along with people. I am sick and tired of people telling me this crap, that you can't get along with people just because you don't agree with their politics.
No, wait. I feel like you're contradicting yourself.
No.
Because
I am being so calm right now.
You said...
I am being really calm right now!
You said that you take everything personally, like everything's a personal attack.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did say that. And now you're saying...
That. No, I did not.
Now you're saying...
No, you're taking that
can't we all
head.
Just get along? I don't...
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
How are you going to correlate those two things? You said, I take everything personally, and now you're saying, I hate it when people tell me I can't get along or they can't get along with people. Because in saying you take everything personally, you're saying, I don't get along with people.
Are you triggered?
No, I'm confused.
Okay.
I typically am with you. Because you never say what you're really thinking. You say this verbal vomit that means absolutely nothing and confuses people.
I say a lot of stuff that sounds confusing because I am trying to morph all my thoughts into a coherent form of speech so that you mere mortal can understand.
I have a stream of consciousness.
And if you donate, you'll be crossing the streams.
That's right. Or if you share the program across the streams, because that makes the gate open correctly. So we can get rid of Gomer. Gozer, I should say. But I have a coherent stream of consciousness. You have more like consciousness vomit.
Well, I don't want to pay the money, but I really want to get a CAT scan and MRI and all this kind of stuff with people asking me questions. I want to see what's going on in my brain because it does concern me. It really does.
What if you get all that done and you're disappointed?
And I'm just like,
there's like no colors or anything.
You're a sociopath.
Well,
my girlfriend thinks I'm a sociopath. A lot of people think I'm a sociopath because I fake a lot of interactions with people.
No, that's called stoic. That is inherited from your grandfather. It's inherited from your father. That is because you think about emotions, you don't actually display them. And that is.
Well, I don't experience a lot of emotions either.
No, you do. You just experience them
at like such a minuscule little level that it makes
you experience them cerebrally in your mind.
A lot. So you,
where other people, you can tell what they're thinking by looking at their face. People never know what you're thinking, and it's the same with me, and the same with your grandfather.
Yeah,
that you have to force yourself to verbalize emotions or to show them on your faces. Yep, that's not about being a sociopath. Yeah, because you honestly feel terrible when you hurt somebody. A sociopath doesn't.
Well, not necessarily. That's the thing. Is that there's a lot of
you don't feel bad when you hurt somebody if you deem that they've suffered. Or they've caused someone else injustice.
No, not really. Like it's just like when children cry, or a baby's crying, or anything like that. I feel absolutely nothing when they're crying. The only thing I feel is annoyance. A word?
Annoyance is a word.
Okay, I don't know if I'm not using it properly.
No, you would say I feel annoyed.
Yeah, it's just this annoying sound that I want to shut up. I know how bad that sounds, but that's just what.
Well, hopefully you don't do that when you have kids. Like,
no,
shut up, little kid. Here's your pillow.
That's what I told my girlfriend. Is that I'm sure when we have kids, after we get married,
it'll be different.
It'll be completely different. But like right now, when people cry or I'm supposed to be feeling empathy and things for that, I don't feel anything other than annoyed because it's like this extra process I have to add.
Yeah, but that's not sociopathic behavior. That is hyper-focused. You're already doing something else. You have the ability, just like the old guy does, is to be hyper-focused and not notice things going on around you. So when you walk through a house and it's cluttered and stuff, you can ignore all that. It doesn't bug you.
Right.
Like your mom, it drives her bonkers. But you can sit at a messy desk because you know where everything is and just work on your computer because that's where you're hyper-focused.
Yeah,
that is not sociopathic behavior. That is a mental state. That's who you are.
It's a mental problem.
Yeah. In fact, I tell my staff all the time, if you don't think I'm responding properly or I've missed something, because I know I do this, and I didn't figure it out till I was like 35. So, you're getting the benefit of years of experience being told this before you even get started really into adulthood, that you can hyper-focus on things and that makes you miss stuff or makes you seem like you don't care about something. But that's not in reality what it is. If you were hyper-focused on that child and the child started crying, you would have a different response. But because you're hyper-focused on something else and the child starts crying, it becomes an annoying, something that's taking you away from your focus.
Right.
And so that is a personality trait. That doesn't mean you're a sociopath.
Okay, good. But now,
you also put cream in coffee.
What does that have to do with?
Well, they've done all kinds of studies. I don't have them in front of me right now, but if you don't drink your coffee with cream, then the chances of you being a sociopath are actually quite high.
I drink it either or.
Well, I do too. So I wonder on some days if I'm a sociopath.
I question that too. This is actually, that's been really good, and I'm hoping my girlfriend listens to this, just so she gets the, another side of the plan.
You need to go to Girl Child and tell her, if you feel like I'm missing something, and if I am not responding in the correct way, it's okay for you to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do that all the time with funerals and people being injured or sick in the hospital. I don't always know what the appropriate response is. And so I don't want to do it overboard.
Exactly.
So sometimes I have to ask somebody, what should I do in this situation? Because it's difficult for me to produce or move from mental thinking about this is a bad situation to actually making it into a tangible thing. Is this something to send a card? Is it something I should call about? Is it something I should send an email or a Facebook message, with lots of emojis on it? Don't know.
Yeah, so I go into all these situations where I have to, I really don't feel anything emotionally or, warm fuzzies about a lot of stuff. And so when I go into situations, I have like this back catalog of emotions, facial expressions, body movements, and things to do, and changing the way my voice sounds when I talk to people, and
that's
crinkling the sides. But because when I go into a certain situation, someone's talking about like, oh, my grandfather died, or they're telling me a story that they're really happy about, and I want to be happy for them. Mm-hmm. I just frankly don't give a crap. So I fake the, oh yeah, great, John, that's awesome, Bill, Joe, whatever, and then someone tells me, oh, my grandpa died. Then I have, oh man, I'm really sorry. I didn't know. You just have to build up all these emotions that don't exist, and it's really frustrating.
No, they exist.
I don't. I'm saying I don't exist in the sense of that I don't experience them. That's why it's been an issue with Christianity for me.
No, you don't experience them in the way many other people do.
Okay, well, but it's just like a blind guy. If you ask a guy that's been blind his whole life, what's it like being blind? They really can't express it the same way because they've never experienced. So for me, I just say, I don't experience certain emotions because the way other people drive
that
them
is
out.
that's a misnomer.
Well,
Like
sure
you're
it is,
telling
but I
me that
can't-
you've never been angry.
No,
You've never been
I said certain.
sad.
I'm not saying I haven't been. I'm saying that I
In
don't
certain
experience certain.
No, in certain situations you don't experience that.
Okay, in certain situations, I don't experience a lot of the characteristics of certain emotions.
Well, in saying you experience them, you don't experience them in a way where people can notice that you're experiencing them, because it's happening in your head. You know when you're talking to somebody and they've lost a loved one, that somewhere in your head you're sad for them, but it's just a fleeting sadness. It's not the overwhelming mourning like you're going to tear your clothes and shave your head kind of thing that some people, and there's some people that are that way, right? Like they have so much empathy for another person in a situation that they're just totally there with them. But it took me a long time before I had emotion. I actually prayed about it for a really long time because I couldn't cry. And now I get weepy when I watch Charlie Brown.
No, I'm at that point right now. Michelle's always trying to do something, get me to cry. I don't remember the last time I truly felt like crying. And I want to cry, and the only way I can get myself to cry is to poke my eyeball.
Yeah, that's not safe.
But I do that. It makes I just open them and it makes my eyes water and tears will come down. But I have not genuinely had that point of emotions where I just bawled my eyes out and I just felt like I released so many emotions and things.
Well,
I haven't.
Like I said, I had to pray about it for a long time and then God gave it to me, and so now I get kind of weepy sometimes and emotional. Now I feel like I do it at inappropriate times.
No, but that's where I'm at. When I get choked up, even though I won't cry, I'll get choked up, or I just feel such strange feelings like the goosebumps, all that kind of stuff, to the dumbest stuff. It's like music. Whatever reason, there's some songs that
because
everyone thinks is the dumbest song, but when I listen to it, I feel moved. And it could just be a Weird Al song.
But you have connection points with that.
Yeah.
That you haven't fully explored yet.
I How to Train Your Dragon 3. I think I saw that in theaters with my girlfriend. Or I saw it in theaters, I think.
It wasn't with me.
But I got feelings moving in me. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's wow. I couldn't explain why I felt so vividly about whatever. I don't know what I was feeling, but I was feeling something about this movie. But the movie really wasn't that great. I can tell you why I felt this youthful wonder when I saw Avengers Endgame, because how the movie ends is exactly the way I played with all my toys as a kid, where I just had all these random toys and they're fighting this one big villain and
the boss.
Yeah, without giving too many spoilers, people are popping up out of other dimensions. So it just reminded me so much of my childhood, and so I felt something there. But like for Christianity and my faith, how I process everything's been challenging for me for a really long time. Because like growing up, because you guys are you're ministers, you're a clergy, you and mom, and I grew up in that faith with you, and it was really challenging because I didn't understand Christ or God or anything like that in any aspect outside of this is just the way things are. I thought all my friends, even Burhanuddin down the street from me, that I'm fairly certain I think they were Muslims.
They were Muslim.
Yeah. I didn't understand that. Like, they said something about God before, but it never clicked. I thought their parents were ministers as well. Just like Sean and Alex, the really creepy, weird dudes at the corner of the street in Illinois. I thought their parents were ministers. And then it took a really long time before we moved to Omaha to where I started clicking, like, people aren't like us. They're not in this society. They don't believe the things that we believe. And then when we came to Omaha, everything else like really changed because it's a bigger city. When you get to the bigger cities, like you always say, it's way more liberal because you have to get along with the people that are next door to you versus having 10 miles apart from the next person. You'd be a little more conservative. And people always talk about feelings and these emotions and going to church. And I wasn't feeling that at all. Church was just what you did. And then I tried like getting really hardcore into the Bible and believing certain things. But then people asked me why, and I'd say, because that's just where it stopped. And then I started going to an art studio, and I stopped. In general, kind of like being a Christian, I identified as a Buddhist. I don't know if I ever really talked to you about that. But
I knew you were being goofy.
Yeah,
not that Buddhism's goofy, but it's definitely different from.
It's a very selfish religion.
Yes.
Which was my thing.
It's narcissistic.
Yeah, but it made more sense to me that I do something good and I get something in exchange for that. Until being at that art studio for a long while, there would be a bunch of Buddhists that would show up, and we'd all be doing something, and we're all being nice to each other, and we're all helping each other out. And then I realized at some point that no one here is being genuine whatsoever. They were doing exactly what I am doing, which is BSing it, which I'm really good at. I'm really good at BSing stuff, and fake it till I make it kind of thing. And that's what everyone else was doing, because they're just there saving face, they're doing good, because it's going to get them in the end. It's like everyone's there for a paycheck. So no one's really there. They don't really care. And then it made me reconsider Christianity after having discussions with you and some other people and experiencing a couple coming to Jesus moments, especially basically almost failing out of public high school and getting involved with a bunch of dumb stuff. That coming to Jesus moment made me realize that this is a total waste of my time, it being just selfish. Because if there's anything true in life, it should be a selfless endeavor where I help.
You didn't want to deal with the legalism. It was all about a relationship.
Right. And now I understand it more. There is a relationship. It's a personal relationship with Jesus, but there's a whole lot of stuff that's entailed in that. But back to the emotions kind of thing, that's where I struggled so much with it, because I didn't experience what all these other people, especially when I went to a Christian school for a bit, I'm just feeling it in church today. I got Jesus is in my soul. I felt nothing. Sometimes a song like reverberates or whatever perfectly and makes me feel good.
You keep saying you felt nothing, but you actually were. Again, you're doing it because I know you are my mini-me.
Hey.
You were experiencing stuff. You just processed it so fast that you didn't need all the emotional baggage. Like, I can tell you, even though we've never talked about this, but I can tell you, when you listen to a very powerful sermon or somebody challenges you, you don't need the altar call and all of that stuff. You're ready to walk out the door and just get it done.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel.
Yeah. But see, that's how you feel. Caught yourself. You are feeling things. You just process it so fast. You don't need an extended altar call and a bunch of prayer music and all of that. You just said, oh, yeah, that's logical. That's reasonable. Let's go do it.
Yeah, it's just like the missional thing we've been talking about in church, where you can't just sit back on your computer and post stuff and hope people come to you for church. We're a missional church. We have to go out there and bring, Jesus, our religion, witness to other people. You have to go out and do that. And
you always heard me say, the church is the locker room. The field that we play our game at or have our battle at is out there in the world.
Yeah, and you can't play the games in the locker room.
No.
So
you got off on a little tangent because that's not what you told me you were going to talk about.
No, that's not even near what I was going to talk about. But
that's okay.
Yeah, it's good talk. I enjoyed it, and then hopefully my girlfriend will be able to listen to the show and
get a little more insight into
be able to understand that I am not a sociopath.
No,
I do have feelings for her. I just don't feel things the same way that she does.
I've never seen you dissect the squirrel in the backyard, which is one of the signs of a sociopath. And
there's the MacDonald Trinity, which is arson, mutilating small animals, and bedwetting.
Yeah.
I have not committed arson, technically. I have not mutilated small animals the way that it describes in the paper, where you have to dissect it and things. I've never dissected a small animal.
Well,
now,
sure,
have I beaten a frog to death with a blunt object?
Every boy
a squirrel,
has done
an
that.
animal? Yes.
My friends and I used to take snakes and whip them against chain link fences.
Right. I remember when we lived at a camp for like 7 years, I just ride my bike. Here's a frog.
Yeah.
Just kill it.
All boys do that stuff.
Yeah.
And because it's cool to watch their guts pop out.
Yeah, but then the third one is like bedwetting. I remember wetting my bed a couple times.
Everybody wets their bed when they're little.
Right, but it's not like I'm in my 20s now and I'm still wetting my bed.
I wondered where the depends came from.
I said let's not talk about that on the show, Darren. Anyway, so the topic I was going to get into today really concerns my sister and her fiance. And I'm not calling them out, except I am calling them out because we don't get along with politically or religiously in any good way.
I don't know. You guys get along. You're just not...
No.
You don't get along the way you used to.
Well, my thing is we get along in that sense of you're my coworker, so I'm going to get along with you. We can have like a cordial conversation or something, but I am not going to be in this conversation longer than I need to be. I am going to exit this conversation, this room, and just not pay attention to you or your existence as soon as possible. And that's how I feel a lot of time. Because their idea of... they don't understand me. They don't understand my political ideology. They don't understand my religion. They don't understand how, I'm a classical liberal, whatever it's called these days, where I think it is okay, I'm saying this on the air, I think it is okay, marijuana, cannabis, weed. I don't think that shouldn't be used for medical, recreational. I don't know about recreational. Medical? Yeah. It is natural. It grows. God created this plant. It is not a freaking...
But you know what people are doping up with right now is not what was originally. I mean, it's been...
Yeah. I totally
through
understand,
layers
and
layers of horticulture to make it into a very...
It's genetically modified. That's why there's so many different strands from just indica and sativa. But I think the natural cannabis, the way it is, I think that's fine. On the other side, I don't agree with other liberal things, like necessarily gay marriage should be conducted by a religious, like a Christian minister. How people think it needs to be considered marriage, when the idea of marriage is way more religiously constructed. And how I think if you want to call it a civil union, go for it. If you guys want to have if two dudes want to pack fudge in each other next door, you guys go do your thing. You put a ring on it. You guys can have a civil union, but the idea of marriage and the word of marriage really comes from a Christian foundation, like a Judeo-Christian idea. Even the word and the ceremony and things like that. And I don't approve of gay marriage happening, and they're using Bible verses, and they're using a minister. I disapprove of that, because I think that's an issue. It's just like...
so what's this got to do with your sister and her fiancé?
Well, what I'm saying is, they don't understand how I can think about two different subjects like that and still exist. Yeah, like I was telling you earlier, I love national parks. Mm-hmm. And I love my guns. Right?
Those aren't two mutually exclusive things.
Well, for them, it is. They don't understand how I can love the idea of Tesla and like Teslas, but still want to own a car that has an engine that pollutes the air. They don't understand why I like yoga.
Your sister drives a diesel.
It's better for the environment. I don't have to fill up the tank as much.
Whatever.
Yeah, bullcrap. But hey, whatever. It can idle. I'll tell you, it can idle a lot better than a gas car.
That's true. But
that's about it. Anyways, they don't understand how I can come up with these thoughts and ideas and exist. And I'm not like diametrically opposed with myself, and I'm just, my atoms are trying to tear apart from themselves. How I'm a Christian, but I agree with a lot of liberal ideologies. If you want to be gay, sure, you can be gay. I really don't care. If you want to do this, you can do that. If Texas wants to secede and then legalize opium and hookers and blow, okay, fine. You guys do that. I'm just saying, like, I don't care.
Well, they exist in an echo chamber, though. I mean, she works at a major university where everybody's pretty much off the end left politically. He is, I don't even know where he's at, and he just doesn't like to deal with confrontation. And he can't because he was an only child, and he doesn't really know how to have a a back and forth conversation. Although he's getting better at it, because last time he was in town, he asked my opinion about things, and I explained it to him, and he listened very intently. He didn't really give me back what he was thinking, but I could tell that he was processing it, and that was helping him get along. So,
yeah, and don't get me wrong, I love him to death, but the problem is, and here's my rant the whole day.
But this isn't really about your sister.
No,
and
it's
her
not
fiance.
really about them.
You're just using them as
because it's the closest thing I have.
Yeah, the scapegoat for the entire system.
It's the easiest way to visualize what I'm talking about, because I love them to death. I really do, and I think they're great for each other for the most part. I know they can't.
For the most part?
I end everything with the most part. I did not mean it. I did not mean it that way. I apologize if it came across anything worse than the way I meant it. I am not good with saying things correctly. Thanks. But what I am trying to say is that the issue we have with our culture, with people around us, is that people can't get along, right? So people don't understand, especially the Zoomers, don't understand this whole idea where you can like different things. You don't have to actually align with the Democrats or the Republicans or with the Green Party, Bernie, or the Yang Gang, or whatever political thing. You can just exist. You don't actually have to be a card-carrying socialist to think, you know what, I think Bernie Sanders got a good point about this or that. Whether it's a good idea or not, you can have that belief. And you're not going to be, like, stoned to death or something. And I think there's some cool ideas from Democrats and some other people that kind of consider them socialists. But I think, I think that's a good idea if it was implemented a little different and you thought about it a little longer and worked on how you're going to pay for all this. I think that could be a good idea. Then I look at the Republican side and I'm like, you guys look like a bunch of morons. The Patriot Act, are you kidding me? That kind of stuff, that's a horrible idea. But at the same time, I still think one idea is good, one's bad, but I side with the other. They just they can't understand and comprehend the fact that I can see, compare and contrast ideas from different ideologies, different religions, different lifestyles, and take something good from that and kind of roll with it.
Well, I don't think that that's the way they think. Here's what I think, though, is that they see if you disagree with them, that means you don't like them.
No, I don't even agree. I agree with that at some point, but I don't think it's about this.
Yeah, it is, because it's all or nothing. It's like the whole homosexual thing. Like you're saying, if two guys want to get married outside of a church, then, let them do it. That's a very libertarian view to do it. And you may not agree with them getting married in a church. So in saying that you don't agree with them getting married in a church, you are now saying, I hate all homosexuals. That's the way their minds think, and that's not true.
Yeah, I agree it's an all or nothing mindset.
But that's the way their politics are, too. You either agree with them 100%, or, you're just out the door.
You're with us or against us. Yeah. And this is the issue I have that I was explaining with, my sister and her fiance the other day, and sometimes they just don't quite understand. Is because that they don't understand that when we're just having, our dog is doing something crazy right now. So give me 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, let's just cut that out at some point. I don't even know what the heck just happened here. Sorry. Anyways, what I'm trying to say and make a point of is that I agree with you that it's this all or nothing mentality. Either you're with us or you're against us. Politics, religion, whatever it is. What I'm trying to say is that I don't understand where this is coming from. I think it's dumb. People need to change from it. And the Zoomers need to understand.
It's coming from college and high school and their whole public school upbringing. All the teachers say, if you don't believe this way, then you hate the environment, you hate planet Earth, you hate other people. It all comes across as hate, and that's absolutely not the way it is. But that's the way several generations have been taught now, that if you don't agree with this, then you're a hater. And I mean, that's all it is. And it's wrong, but that's the way that they've instilled this kind of doctrinal I'll call it what it is, a theology.
Yeah.
In people since they were little kids in kindergarten, and now it's hard to break. At some point in time, everybody's going to get to a point where they're either going to have, this catharsis moment where they realize, oh, the way I've been thinking is wrong. But until they get there, they're just locked in this echo chamber of a bunch of hate, even though they say they're trying to be inclusive and not hater. But while they do that, they're actually hating others.
Yeah, and, because when I was growing up, we've lived in a whole bunch of different places. I've gone through 8 different schools before graduating high school. And the main thing I can remember growing up from all these different experiences, public and private, is just this idea of taking the best out of something and growing. So I remember Stevenson Elementary in Illinois, Bloomington, Illinois, was the main idea. I remember Miss Molnix in 4th grade, she talked about this occasionally, was like, you just take the best thing out of a bad situation and you grow from it. So in my head, that's how everything works, is here's a horrible situation, like the Hindenburg or whatever, and you take the best idea out of that and you grow from there. It's not about stealing or appropriating someone's culture.
What's the best idea out of the Hindenburg?
The blimp. The blimp was the best idea. I mean, the Empire State Building was originally built so that blimps can dock with it, which I think is I think that is a mind-blowing idea. Because they never land or anything. They just go, they dock, and they already go. You don't have to wait for a launch, a lift off. They just dock off, or de-dock, whatever the word is. They just...
The only time this has ever been feasible is in the alternate reality in Fringe.
But I'm saying this is what it was originally built for. That's one of those kind of ideas where, out of the Hindenburg, everyone threw away the idea because everything blew up. It was flames. Everyone died. Oh, Nazis. But if we just take the best of the idea, we could make something great. Look, now Amazon's got this huge blimp that giant killer drones are flying out of to drop, what someday will probably be bombs that blow up over houses on one-day shipping things. But hey, that's just the way it is. We're taking the best out of some worse idea, and that's just how I work with life. It's like with yoga or with cannabis or liberal ideas or whatever it is. I take the best thing out of that subject, and I take it personally, and I grow with it. I grow with that what do you call it? Idolatry, ideology, and I morph it all into this thing, so everything just makes sense to me. And that's just the way it is. But I hate how I'll go talk to other people my age, a little older, a little younger, somewhere around my age, in my same generation, and they literally cannot cognitively make a process to connect the synapses or whatever I'm saying. They just can't think about it. They can't imagine a world where I can agree that JFK made some good ideas when he was president, and I think he was a pretty cool guy.
If JFK was alive today, he'd probably be a Republican.
Yeah, some people have said that. And then some people can't understand how I don't really like Abraham Lincoln all that much, but I like Ronald Reagan. And you don't like Obama? No, I don't. But there are things I do like Obama that outside of policy, I think he was probably one of the friendliest presidents ever, which I thought was great. That's one thing I can really respect about President Obama. I didn't agree with any of his policies, but he did the shows, he did the YouTubes, he did the podcasts, he would show up to just people's school events, wherever it was. He was just so friendly that Americans felt, whether you liked him or not, it didn't feel as divisive when he was president.
What?
I'm saying this from school, right? For 8 years being under Obama in a public school, things just didn't. He was just the president. That's all it was. But the people don't understand, like you right now. You're doing it too. You don't understand how I can just totally respect the fact that I think he was. I think he's a secret Muslim or something. I think that. I don't think he's really a Christian.
I am only mocking at that he was not a divisive.
I'm not saying he's not divisive. I'm saying the nation. I said the nation doesn't feel as divided. It doesn't. It doesn't feel as divided then as it does now. I don't remember having...
He started that process.
Great. But it didn't happen until after he left the freaking White House and, Cheeto Head was in the Oval Office.
Are you nuts?
No, I'm not nuts. It's not the same thing. No,
yes, it is.
No, it's completely different. Look, when he was in office, I don't agree with the guy. Like, it doesn't.
This is simply because
your
matter of perspective is the 8 years of the Obama presidency. Part of that, you were a preteen with brain damage, so your perspective now is off.
I mean, sure, it could be.
He was one of the most divisive people ever.
I agree with that now, looking at policy.
I'm
but
sure
when
he's
you're
a nice guy.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying is that I can agree with him that from a certain aspect, just looking at the guy and seeing how he seemed like a really friendly guy, and I can respect that about him. He seems like he just got along with people pretty well. Maybe behind closed doors, he was a total butthole.
What Trump does to CNN, Obama was doing to Fox News, calling them out, telling them that they did.
But no one cares about conservatives, and I wasn't even conservative then. So it's just.
I'm simply telling you that the guy, everything that Trump's doing right now, Obama did. The difference right now is most of the major media outlets don't like Trump, and they liked Obama, so they just swept it under the rug with Obama. But with Trump, they throw it out there like he's a blithering idiot, which occasionally he is.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing. But what I am saying is this kind of sounds like the rest of my generation, where you bring up one topic about a guy and you say, I respect this one thing about him. I like this one thing. Don't stop. Because, see, look, you're already doing it. I was just say one idea about him, and then, bam, this whole thing starts.
The key here is, I still love you. You're
triggered.
I'm not triggered. I am simply here to complain about stupid stuff you say.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like you're triggered.
That is a dumb thing to say. Should
we put a trigger warning in front of our episodes?
Maybe.
I was just thinking about that. Maybe we should do that.
Because just for full disclosure, I am not a Republican or a Democrat. And I also did not vote for Trump.
I voted for Trump, and I am a card-carrying Republican. I actually just got my 2019 charter member card in the mail. So I am a card-carrying Republican. I don't agree with the Republicans on everything, but they match the most of my political ideas. So I am with them, and I donate like $1 a month to them. That way I can be a member.
Yeah, you get these little pre-pressed membership cards all the time, so you give more money.
Yeah, I've collected all of them. I do have some. The Republicans have given me some cool things. Like my name's officially for, at the Republican National Headquarters. My name is engraved on the honor roll for the.
Engraved?
Yeah.
On some plaque someplace.
Mm-hmm. With all these other Republicans, and one special thing about being part of the Make America Great Again committee that I'm a part of, and part of the Presidential Advisory Committee, which is the advisory committee is why I was elected to go into that. So my name is engraved somewhere in the national headquarters. Is that every month I get a census, and I fill out the census about my district of this for the Republicans, so they get a good understanding of how to do certain things with messages. And I fill all that stuff out, and I send it back to them. So it's nothing great, but
you're such a good slave.
I know, but it makes me feel like I'm doing something. And I like that. That's all I really want.
Once again, you just said, I feel like I'm doing something. So you're still admitting that you feel.
I feel like I'm hungry. That doesn't necessarily mean I have this emotion where I'm like, I'm feeling...
Hunger's not an emotion.
Right. Feeling. I got stabbed. I hurt. That's not so much an emotion as is a physical... It's just a word to explain the fact that my guts are pouring out of my abdomen.
Okay. I don't
know what? I want to go to Coachella. Coachella,
go ahead.
I want to go to Coachella and see the Kanye West do his Sunday service stuff. This looks lit, it looks hip, and it looks cool. So if you don't know anything about Kanye West, he is confusing.
To say the least.
Yeah, that's about the only way you can describe him. He's not conservative. He's not liberal. I don't know what the heck the guy is. He likes Trump though, and he appears to be a Christian. Even though I don't know how he reconciles that with some of the thoughts and opinions he has,
or the lifestyle.
Right, But at the same time, again, I respect him for a lot of his stuff. I don't really like all his music, like his rap. I think a lot of it kind of sucks. Some of it it's like listening to Prince. I don't like Prince that much, but some of his songs he made, like they're just beautiful. How it's composed, all the instruments, and how he wrote it, and it's like really smart and beautiful. But then for Kanye West, he's been doing Coachella. He's been doing these Sunday service things. And recently, the last one he did, he had 50,000 people surrounding a hill. Then him and a whole bunch of people on were singing gospel songs, and he was talking about Jesus Christ. And people on a podcast I was listening to were discussing that they're not Christian or anything like that, but when they started listening, they felt really awkward. And he was saying, "Everyone shout back, Jesus is Lord, Jesus is Lord," or whatever. They didn't want to do it. By the end of the show, everyone's bawling and crying, and they were feeling things they said they've never felt before. And they're like, "Jesus Christ is alive in me." And they were just feeling it. Everyone was feeling it. And so for 50,000 people, Kanye West witnessed to them about Jesus Christ. Whether he did that the most efficient way, the best way, or the correct denomination, don't know. But he definitely did something that I can say that I've never done, and that a lot of other Christians that say they are better than Kanye West have, ever done. And I just want to say I respect that about him. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, the reality is when you talk to most Christians, that honestly, a lot of them have never shared their faith with anybody, let alone a crowd of strangers.
No, if you ask a lot of people that are Christians, and they were, well, if you go ask your friends right now, "Are you a Christian?" What are they going to say? And a lot of them they will reply with, "Well, my friends thought I was atheist. They didn't think I believed in anything." Like, are you really doing your duty then? Your due diligence?
If Jesus really is your Lord, then people should know it.
Right.
They should see it in your actions, the way you live your life.
Yeah. Now, for Kanye West doing, 50,000 fans, all paying roughly $2,000, so it's not like it was in the public park for free and he was witnessing like William Booth or something. You did pay a pretty good price, but at the same time, you weren't expecting this. This is a great draw. You have a personality. People are going to come see you, and you witness to him. And
well, he has enough status now. If he said he was giving a free concert in the park, don't you think people would show up?
Oh, easily. Yeah, if you went to Times Square or something, he's like, "I'm going to do a concert right now." He just showed up and he had a mic. The economy of New York around Times Square would just stop. And everyone would leave their work.
Oh, sure.
McDonald's would close. The shops would have the open sign.
McDonald's
go close.
would not close. They'd be selling cheeseburgers.
Whatever. I mean, majority of the employees are going to go out and they're going to be partying or whatever. Because he's just one of those characters that everyone just gets behind the guy. Whether you like him or not, he's just so charismatic. Which is cool for me. But I don't really like a lot of the things he says or does. But anyways, we've been ranting going on. What are some things you have prepared for us today? You old dude.
Are you done talking? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, I could keep going on.
I know, you could go drone on forever. I
mean, this is just what it's like with me. I have all these ideas and thoughts. Again, I know, none of them are coherent. They don't make sense when I'm talking. But it just is what it is, so I'm just going to keep going with it because, well, why not? No one else is listening, so...
Well, we do want to remind you, as we hit the midpoint of the show, that... we are a stream of consciousness that we like to share with others, and we can't fully share it without your support or you sharing it with others. So we want you to cross our stream with your stream and share it with others so that we can be maybe one of the best podcasts in the universe. You never know. But what I do like is that there's people listening, and we know there's people listening, and so we ask you to cross the streams, share the show with others, and get more people involved. As we get more set up with a website and email and such, then you can start to be not just a supporter, but also donate to the show and help us produce the show by sending thoughts, clips, comments, all those kind of things in.
And this is the true value method, where if you really care about the show and you want to give back, you can't give back financially or anything like that, just share the show. Share it on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you want. Take the show, rip it, and post it on somewhere else. We don't actually have any ads for this, so it doesn't really matter if you rip this and post it somewhere else. Just as the fact that other people can listen to the show and then give back any way they can.
Yeah, so if you find value in the show, if you're getting something from it,
for value,
then we ask you to share that value for us. Soon we're going to get about 5 episodes done before we set up the PayPal account and things like that. So, we're still exploring how to do this correctly, and we need your help. So become a producer. So some of the things that I was looking at this week, excuse me, that I thought were kind of interesting. First is that this was not pronounced in the news media very well, that SpaceX actually was doing a test launch of their new capsule that's supposed to carry people.
And it failed.
It didn't just fail, it exploded on the launch pad. Now, the crazy thing to me was that on April 30th, in the Atlantic, they had a story about it, but Tesla had sent out a bunch of memorandums to everybody, and NASA did too, that said, do not discuss this or you're going to get fired. And it wasn't until May 3rd that all of a sudden there was stuff that was released. And it was nearly 2 weeks after the explosion that it actually came out that this thing had exploded and didn't work and all of that. I didn't realize the accident actually took place on April 20th. I thought it was April 30th. So it was like 2 weeks of a cover-up here, which I was kind of amazed at. Part of this is this government-private partnership that they've got going on with SpaceX and Elon Musk. And there's a couple of these going on, but somebody actually leaked a video of the capsule exploding, and obviously Elon did not like that at all. I'm sure it tanked some stock market thing for him. But they're going to keep going. But, since the space shuttle stopped flying over a decade ago, we've been relying on the colluding Russians to get people up to the space station. So this was kind of a little bit of a setback, but they're still on track, they say, to, by 2020, next year, to start manned space flight out of the United States again.
Which, what I'm all for. And, you gotta break a couple legs to make an omelet. I got a big omelet. But
What?
I'm just saying, I think SpaceX is doing something cool here. It's actually trying something, which I wish other people would get on board with. It's just like those people that they got mad at Ford because they stopped making the Ford Focus RS and ST and the Ford F-150 Lightning and all these really cool special cars, or they get mad at that. But the thing is, they're here driving their 90s Toyota Camry. It's not you didn't buy the car. That's why they stopped selling it. You never bought it.
So what's that got to do with...
What I'm saying is that these are the people that...
the naysayers?
Yeah, they just go and say, well, the government's not doing enough to go to the moon or go back to Mars. We're not doing anything. We need to go and do more stuff. Well, where are you donating money? Where are you starting a foundation to support...
I pay taxes.
Yeah, great. Outside, well, I'm sure half these people probably don't pay taxes, but anyways. You get a bunch of these people that are just like, let's go do this, let's go do that. And they're not doing anything with their lives. How are you going to tell me and all these other people that we need to get out there and start a company and do all this when you're just sitting at home... angry, typing away on your computer because you're getting triggered because you're receiving a signal from NPC headquarters to get mad at something. So I think the SpaceX thing's cool. Yeah, I don't like that they had to cover up that the freaking space pod blew up. Just tell me. Just let me know, man.
Right. That's the thing that bugged me was they let this sit for 2 weeks before they made any kind of official announcement.
And I don't see why. I get it. You don't want people to see that blow up. It's just a test launch. Stuff happens.
The first Saturn and Saturn rockets and the rockets leading up to that, yeah, there was tons of mistakes. One of them, there's a lot of astronauts that died in the process on the launch pad. It's part of the process. I mean, these are going to be experimental craft. Nobody's flown these things really before, all that kind of stuff. A lot of the times it goes up, it's the first time it's ever done. The space shuttle flew numerous times, and we had 2 major accidents. So I don't get the cover up about it. I'm sure they were trying to analyze the data, but they could have just said an accident happened, and we're looking at what's happening and trying to figure out what went wrong. Now, the big part there is 2 mannequins lost their lives.
Well, I wonder if it wasn't mannequins and if it was like 2 dogs.
No, it was mannequins.
Or something.
It was mannequins. Maybe there's some conspiracy theory about dogs, but it was mannequins.
I think we should send monkeys back in outer space.
You cruel person.
Well, because what happens with the monkeys is they're able to press buttons and everything and fly back down the space. I'm not talking about like the Russians.
You've been watching movies again.
No, but they do. Like they can have an automated thing where like they do this procedure after a certain period of time, like a bell goes off and it knows when this bell goes off, do this, this, and this. And the pod just automatically turns around and just flies right into the ocean. If it survives or not, don't know. But we know it was alive when it got up there and it was able to press the thing to come back down. So it survived that. Russians, they would send dogs into outer space in a little pod and just let it die.
Are you getting emotional now?
No, I just think it's absurd. Just like my girlfriend's father wants to put their dog down, wants to just pop a cap in it because he gets tired. Because if they give it human food, it poops in the house. It just has the issue holding it, so it has like diarrhea and stuff. And when the dog has diarrhea, he's like, if it has diarrhea one more time, I'm gonna go and put it out of its misery. I'm gonna go take it. He wants to just go take it to a vet and kill it.
It's a dog.
I get it's a dog, but I don't think that's being I just don't think that's being a good person. Because that's not a good reason just to kill a dog because of your mistake. The dog keeps pooping people. Is it really? If I just went into the zoo and just popped a cap into the last tiger on Earth, it's just a tiger. It's just an animal.
It's not
just
your property.
An animal.
The dog is their property.
I pay taxes, and a lot of these zoos are government funded, so I own the Cincinnati Zoo. All right,
no, you don't.
Own.
You've never paid taxes in Ohio.
But I did pay I pay taxes in Nebraska though, so therefore the Omaha Henry Dorley Zoo is my zoo. I own that freaking albino alligator, crocodile, whatever it is. I don't know, but I pay for it. I own it.
You probably own one blade of grass there.
Great. I want that blade of grass kept better than anyone else's.
Well, just take your trimmers there with you.
I don't think I'd make it through the front gates.
Probably not. So our next story is an interesting one that I clipped. This is about McDonald's, that in the last quarter, they've beat their sales estimates. And the interesting way they did it was to give away free bacon for their sandwiches. So you could upscale your sandwich with free bacon, and McDonald's used this to lure people in to sell more sandwiches. So this helped its same store sales above the Wall Street estimates for the first time in about a year, which is pretty amazing. So, I mean, bacon works.
I wish they did that around here, because around here it's $1.50 to throw 2 slices of that fake, microwave bacon that McDonald's has on your burger. $1.50.
Well, they rose their same-source sales by 4.5%.
That's a good amount.
And part of it is by giving out free bacon. Now, we've been at different fundraisers and such. Excuse me. Different fundraisers and stuff where they've given out bacon. And I don't know what it is about bacon, but humans will go out of their way to get bacon. And when you say free bacon, they'll buy more food, obviously, especially at McDonald's.
It's a fun, simple food that's meaty and delicious.
Yeah. Well,
and I say fun. It's fun because it's wavy.
It's fun. Or it's crispy.
Yeah, it's different. It's fun.
Well, the interesting thing about this free bacon tactic was that when they analyzed the data, the average person, the average amount that they spent on food during this period where McDonald's offered free bacon went up by 2 to 3%, depending on the area. So offering the free bacon was a really good kind of...
They bought like another $4 worth of stuff.
Basically. So their total revenue went up $1.78 per share on the stock market after all of this free bacon kind of stuff, which is...
And if you think about it, they sell like $1 billion it's not a billion burgers a day. It's a billion burgers a year, right? That's their claim.
I don't know. I don't look at their sign that close, but there's 22 billion served or whatever it is. You're gonna look it up there on Google real quick.
Let's see. So April 15th, 1994, 100 billion McDonald's executives announced as the annual owner-operator convention that they will stop counting hamburgers served because the count has surpassed the 99 billion hamburger mark. So all their operations should say on their signs, billions and billions served.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember the one in Omaha, down the street from our house, said 100 billion served.
Yeah, I remember.
So they left it there and never touched it. But I guess all of them are supposed to say billions and billions served. So if you think about, like, in a year, they probably sell over 1 billion.
Well, they easily sell over 1 billion in China every year.
Yeah. So let's say it's 1 billion for every billion. Let's just say it's a burger a person every year at least. So you're selling like 8 billion burgers a year.
Yeah, worldwide or something.
Even if it was just $1 for a burger.
Well, but there's people in Africa living on $1 a day.
Yeah,
they're not going to go to McDonald's and buy. Here's my day.
Well,
I'm going to buy a
it's
double
a rough
cheese.
estimate. I'm not actually saying for everyone. Obviously, you get that one dude that's just buying like 100 burgers a month.
Well,
so he makes up for the 100 people in Africa that are dying because they're eating mud pies.
Yeah. Well, that goes right into these guys in Australia. In Queensland, Australia, at the University of Queensland. And they've developed a new sausage that's filled with a meat alternative, and that meat alternative is maggots.
Does it taste good, though?
They say it tastes okay. They're saying conventional livestock production will soon be unstable to meet global demand for meat. So other fillers and alternatives will be needed to supplement the food supply with sufficient protein. Now, if you're a fan of Blade Runner, you'll see, like in the latest Blade Runner 2049, the initial characters in the movie, where is he at? He's on a protein farm where he is farming maggots. So this is definitely in the consciousness of a lot of people. And so people see how poultry is a massive industry, cows, all of that, but they take up kind of resources, and maggots don't take up the same kind of resources. So they think to keep food healthy and nutritional for all, that we should start grinding up maggots and sticking them in our sausages.
Well, does it taste good, though?
The story doesn't really talk about this, but I don't know. I've eaten maggots before, part of a little Boy Scout thing when I was a kid, and they don't taste terrible, but it's definitely, well, when you eat live maggots, I mean, they're crawling around on your tongue and stuff.
I really wouldn't. I've been really eating any kind of like insect.
The big poofy maggots, I don't know. I don't know the difference between maggots. There's little tiny ones like mealworms. Those are kind of crunchy, like Rice Krispie treats. They don't really have a flavor. The big poofy ones are more like fruit gushers. They kind of pop in your mouth. Those have a little bit of a peanutty taste, actually.
Okay.
So at least the ones I've had. And then I've had some that were chocolate covered. Of course, they didn't taste anything. The crickets are like that too. You cover them in chocolate, but it's just like eating a Rice Krispie treat. So,
so I'm fine with eating bugs. The biggest hurdle for me would just be getting the idea, of eating a bug, because it's ingrained in us as a child. Like in our culture, we just don't eat.
Yeah,
we draw a line at like horses
and dogs.
Well, there's that PETA meme where it's like they got like every animal we eat going up to a horse, and then there's a horse, and then there's a dog, and there's a couple other like household animals, but all the farm animals it goes, and then there's a horse, and they're like PETA's billboard is, "Where do you draw the line on eating animals? We don't draw any." And there's a guy that just photoshopped and put a line right between the cow and the horse, and he said, "Right about there's where I draw the line."
People eat horse meat all over the world.
Yeah, we've eaten horse meat. I remember we went somewhere and there's horse meat.
I don't remember that.
I know I've eaten horse meat.
They used to put horse meat in dog food. I don't know if they can do that anymore.
Probably not. I know IKEA got in trouble because they had those horse meat meatballs.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No.
A lot of people liked them. Then they found out there was horse meat.
They
People
taste
got
like chicken.
Oh boy, did they get sued?
Well, in Korea they eat dog.
Oh yeah, there's a dog.
As Mel Gibson said in The Patriot, dog's a good meal.
Yeah. Well, I'm fine with eating horses. Things like a cat, I can't really envision what kind of meat you'd really get off a cat.
Yeah, there's not a lot of fat on them. That's the problem.
Now, if you get a bulldog,
I shouldn't say problem, but you can't just eat cat or dog because the meat doesn't have any carbohydrates in it or fat in it content. So, if you just eat protein all the time, you're going to get sick and it's going to mess your system up. So you got to eat other things with it. That's where maggots kind of come in.
Yeah. And you know what? You should eat more buffalo too.
Well, the reason buffalo didn't take off in the United States because the meat's not well marbled.
Yeah.
Cows have well marbled meat that increases the flavor and the fat content, makes things taste better.
Well, I remember there was this whole project to actually put hippos in Florida. I think it was in the 1940s or 50s. But there's a huge amount of the population that's never seen a hippo before during that time. And the idea was to actually take hippos and start raising them in Florida. And
in the swamp or something?
Yeah, just in the swamplands, the wetlands and everything. And then sell it off like cow meat. Mm-hmm. And you just eat hippos because they're gigantic. If you're out there and you've ever seen a hippo it means water horse. They are very large.
Yeah, I wonder how they do with the alligators.
I don't know. I don't know, but I guess they tried it, and people, when they saw a hippo, couldn't comprehend how to eat it, because at the same time, you had a bunch of these kids' cartoons during the 40s and 50s about hippos in Africa, and hippos were just this friendly little animal, so now people don't want to eat hippos, even though it probably would have been a good thing for the hippo population if we ended up eating them, because there'd be more.
Yeah, because if we liked them, we would breed them.
Yeah, because it seems like they probably have good fat content. They just, they're heavy and they got to move around, so they probably got good muscle. But at the same time, they just eat all day, so you probably get some good beef, just like cows.
Yeah, I don't know if it'd be considered beef, but you never know.
What would you consider it then? Like, have you ever thought about that? Like, what you consider bison is a buffalo, venison is deer. Beef is cow. What would a hippo be?
Pork is pig.
Right. What is a horse? Horse is a horse, of course.
Equine.
I don't know. Equine.
Yeah, I don't know. But I do know if you ride this roller coaster that they just opened up in Canada, you're probably going to throw up whatever you have.
Why?
Whether it's hippo or horse. Well, in Ontario, at Canada's Wonderland theme park, they unveiled some roller coaster named the Yukon Striker.
The Yukon Striker.
It's considered it's the tallest, fastest, and longest dive roller coaster in the world. And
like free fall wise?
Yeah, you go straight down on this thing. The entire track is 365 feet, so 2/3 of a mile. And excuse me. And it hits speeds of 80 miles an hour straight down. But the first thing you hit going straight down in a 3.5 minute ride is you go straight down into a tunnel. So you go over the edge. You can go on YouTube and watch. Somebody had a GoPro and they filmed all of this. But you go over the edge. It's a rather large drop where you go straight down, but then you don't even curve out. You just go right into a tunnel, and it is very, very, just watching it on YouTube, it's scary. So you go over a full 90 degrees, and that's kind of freaky because the way it's one of those really wide car things where you got I don't know, about 6 people or 8 people across. So
Right.
it's one of these massive cars.
I'm looking at Yukon Striker roller coaster, real POV front seat on ride view Canada's Wonderland 2019. All right, I'm gonna click on it. I'm gonna see. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you're going over this hill. It goes straight down. It looks like a Hot Wheels track. You were hovering.
Yeah.
No, we're dropping, and it goes like
Right
right into a
into a
tunnel
tunnel.
underneath the water, and it comes right back up under the water.
Yeah,
And
you
you go
come up-
immediately in this huge loop. You do a spin. You're going straight, and it goes up, and then you're twisting while going through these loop-the-loops. Going back down near the ground. I mean, you were like probably near the ground for a split of a second, and you're immediately going straight back up. So I can't imagine the amount of G-force you're probably feeling on here. And it seems to slow down at really weird angles and then speed up at other ones. Is it done? Is that it? Was it that
No,
fast?
it like has this pause in the center.
Yeah, it just like stops.
Yeah, then you go down another big.
Oh man, so it gives you like a breather for about like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
That is a complete drop. That's straight down. Ooh, boy.
So I don't.
Oh, gosh.
I'm a big roller coaster fan. I don't know if I could ride that.
I think I could ride it. Now, this would probably be one of the first roller coasters I'd ride where I have to take my glasses off. The majority of the time, I don't need to. There's never really been a situation where they'd fly off or something.
Mm-hmm.
But this would be one that I think my glasses would fly off. My
Well,
hat would fly
at
off.
80 miles an hour, you're probably going to lose your glasses.
Yeah, and a lot of time you go on roller coasters and you're going with it. When you see a tunnel or something sticking up, you duck because you're going so fast.
Yeah, you
can't
think it's
tell.
going to hit you.
Right. So that tunnel, I can't imagine. Even the point of view, photo, video, whatever on YouTube, it looked like it was pretty close. I can't imagine actually being there. I would probably
Because when you're going in that tunnel, you got to think that your head's going to get ripped off.
Oh, yeah, I'd be ducking down so low, making you even flatter against the ground when you hit that
Even
apex.
even though you know it's not going to happen, but
Well, at least you hope it wouldn't. I remember several years ago, I probably was a decade ago, I can't remember, there's some little fun town roller coaster thing that they kept moving towns because the issue they were having was kids put their hands up and their hands were broken off because they had a bar that was too low.
whoa.
But they couldn't fix it because it was just this ancient ride. So they just tear it down and move to the next town.
Yeah.
Just leaving a kid with their arms, going up and then just push
Keep
it back
your
all the way and bust them off.
Head and hands inside the vehicle at all times.
There's a reason they have those trigger warnings at the beginning of roller coasters.
Right. So this next one I want to get your kind of opinion on.
Okay.
It's out of Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin, which is kind of a liberal area. There's a big University of Wisconsin's there. And the title of the article is Officials Crack Down on Church Using Marijuana as a Sacrament.
Oh, I saw someone saying something about this, but I didn't look into it because I was hoping you'd bring it up.
So 2 men operating the Lion of Judah House of Rastafari Church have accepted donations to distribute marijuana to parishioners since March.
Greeted brother.
So they say about 6,000 people have signed up to become church members since then. No kidding.
Yeah.
And these 2 guys say openly using and distributing marijuana as a sacrament is a religious and an inalienable right and is not breaking any laws.
Except it's completely illegal in Wisconsin. I know that.
We all use cannabis to meditate and also for religious purpose, for uplifting our mind and our body and our spirit.
You haven't done a Bible study till you've done a Bible study when you're high.
Yeah. So these 2 jokers, they haven't been arrested yet. No charges have been filed, but they've been threatened, I guess, a few times. Their police have been bugging their landlord. that she must stop the activity going on in the
I'm
area
sure
that
she's
they
getting a
lease.
little something out of this too.
The city's attorney said if the landlord doesn't do anything, then she's going to get cited for public nuisance. And these guys are just off their rocker. One of them says they don't really have a way to prove that what I'm doing, that I'm doing the things they don't want me to do. They're accusing me of selling, but we don't sell. They're accusing me of giving it to anyone, and we only give it to members. So they're a little off their rocker.
Now, if you're going like full legal analyst kind of thing, he's not wrong. They're saying we're selling it in a court of law. You could defend yourself and win very easily by saying the accusation, like the whole you could get double jeopardy. Where just what I'm saying is they
double jeopardy is being charged with the same crime after you've been acquitted.
Right, but I'm saying they could get to that point, and then they couldn't do anything because they're not selling it technically. They're not giving it to anyone. You have to go through this process of becoming a church member, which is a selected group.
What's the process? I just give you a bong and now you're a member?
Well, I don't know. Well, I mean, if it's Salvation Army, for the Mormons, for Catholics, whatever it may be, there's a little thing you got to go through. It's not really much paying money, but it's a lot of time you could go through to become a member, an official member. So if they're doing that, you can't be anybody because they're not just going down the street.
So I can't be a member unless I get stoned.
I don't know.
That's kind of what it sounds like.
But hey, they could easily... I mean, I see the guy's point. He could easily defend himself in court. We're not selling it. We're not giving it away to everyone. We only give it to members. And there's a rigorous process to become a member. And
that's the second time in this episode you've belched.
And it is the third time in the entire podcast history that I've done that.
That's true.
But I didn't step on the dog during the podcast like you did earlier, so...
I simply was trying to get her to move.
You stepped on the dog, and it just started, yelping in pain, and I'm sitting here for, a solid 2 minutes trying to gather my thoughts. You muted yourself, but it didn't help. My mic was still going when you were brutally trying to murder our dog, which you're okay with. You're just like, it's just property. It doesn't mean anything. I can kill this dog.
I was going to cut that out later, but...
dog. I'm taking it to the vet.
Now I can't cut it out because you're making note of it now.
I'm making a note of it now. Yeah, you can't kill a dog. It's not even your dog. It's Mom's dog. Who's over at the craft table right now? Hi, Mom.
She's got headphones on.
Okay. I love you, Mom. But it's her dog. So how could you kill that dog? How could you?
I didn't
even
kill
attempt
the dog.
to try and hurt this poor
there
little...
Was no
this
attempt
dog's going to be 12, 13 this summer?
I don't know, but I was trying to push it along.
To push it? It's a her. Thank you.
No,
there is not a ball sack on that dog. You just push that dog
all
over.
Of the female parts have been yanked out, so technically it isn't it.
But there's not a ball sack on that dog. It is still a she.
What? You just like saying
no. You're gonna do this thing where it's you're gonna get into this whole transgender thing here, where I ripped my balls and stuff off, so I'm an it now. No, you're still a guy. You just don't have as high of testosterone anymore.
It's a dog. Nobody cares.
Well, I care. It's my dog.
Okay. It is not your dog.
Well, it's not your dog either, so stop trying to murder the dog. There's no reason to sit down and try and murder the dog.
How can you claim the dog when you...
Because I take care of it. I take care of the dog.
Occasionally.
A lot of the time. A lot of the time. I take care of the dog.
Because I don't care about it.
Exactly. Now you're here trying to murder the dog.
I was not trying to
You were out here trying to murder the dog and try and tell other people that you are not. You are a murderer. Is this part of the McDonald triad where you're
no.
Mutilating small animals?
Our last story today is out of Fox News. And it's an interesting one. That translating the Bible is saving many languages from extinction.
Ooh, that's an interesting point.
So the story goes, with 1/3 of the world's 7,000 plus languages endangered, most oral only or without an alphabet, a Bible translation group is helping to save lost and dying languages, and that's Wycliffe Bible Translators. Now, in my past, I've run a campground, and one of the counselors I hired one of the summers He went on when he graduated college to become a Wycliffe Bible translator.
Is that Andy?
No.
He was the Catholic?
No, his name was Joseph.
Hmm.
But he went over to places like Sri Lanka and Myanmar and places like that. And he was helping to translate the Bible over there. So while he was doing that for a few years, Mom and I would send him some money because I really felt this was an important kind of thing to do so that people could have the Bible in their native language, especially, again, and they're doing it, excuse me, they're doing it with languages that could become extinct. So this is kind of an important process. A lot of times they're only able to really do it with the New Testament, and usually they start with the New Testament and then they go to the Old. And one of the folks from Wycliffe says, over the last 50 years, in many places, Wycliffe has been doing this, and it's really made a big difference in a lot of people's lives. And so I just think it's a great thing. They've now reached the point where they've translated the Bible in 1,000 different languages. And a lot of times, these missionaries for Wycliffe are going into areas, and they don't know what the native language is, and they got to kind of learn how to write it and read it and
That's gotta be really
communicate
difficult.
with it. Yeah. So the minds of these people to be able to do that and then take, another translation of the Bible and change it to that language for those people in a way that they can understand it. I think that's a miraculous thing, and I think it's really cool.
I do too. My question would be, do they take like the Old Testament straight from the Hebrew and try and translate it straight from that into like Sri Lankanese? Or do they take like the NIV and try and translate
Lankanese?
whatever? I don't know. They're languages that don't exist anymore or are going extinct. I don't know. It could exist. But, do they go to the original written form of that book of the Bible and try to translate it into this new language or, this different language? Or do they try and transfer a language that, like, say, an English Bible into that language?
That I do not know. I'd have to do
I
some...
feel like you could get in a lot of errors going from English to that versus... But then again, there's probably some huge difficulties. You have to come up with new words. It's,
Yeah, sometimes, when you look at the Greek, as you know and you're aware of, the Greek language has many words for the word love, but in English it all comes out as love. So you got to find those kind of nuances and try to work them in there. Mm-hmm. Then there's probably metaphors that don't translate well.
Right.
When somebody's learning English and I say it's raining cats and dogs, they tend to take that literally and don't understand it. When anybody who speaks English knows that just means a lot. There's a lot of rain.
Yeah, sarcasm and...
Yeah, and other things like that. And certainly Jesus, in the way he spoke to people, sometimes was kind of joking or used some of the way he verbally said things was very shocking to people. And so they need to, I'm sure they do. I don't speak any other languages, so I don't know, but I'm sure that they do somehow bring that out in the context correctly. But they are trying to complete by 2025. They say there's still 2,000 languages still without Bible translations, and Wycliffe is trying to get all of these other 2,000 languages done by 2025. So that's like 6 years from now.
Man, you're doing like 500. I can't. I can't imagine the workload that's got to be. But you better love languages a whole lot.
Well, they've got a lot of people doing it, and that's a pretty great thing. I think so. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Well, that's about it for today. You got anything else, man-child?
No, not really. I start my complete first full day at work tomorrow from 10 to 7 p.m. Well, 12 to 7 p.m.
You better get that right.
Whoops. I'm probably going to go get a haircut in the morning and go to the DMV because my registration is expired.
Oh.
And, yeah, do that all in the morning before I go to work.
Well, I wish you well on your first day, full day at Best Buy.
Thank you, sir. At BBY.
Yeah, BBY. Well, thanks again for joining us here at the Man-Child and Old Guy podcast show.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing our stream of consciousness with others, and we'll see you again next week.
Hey, you didn't do your outro.
Oh, I didn't.
Do your outro real quick.
Don't fall up a down elevator.
And remember, if I don't make it back, you made me come here. Alright, see you guys.
Bye-bye.